should likely be our last session of Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Let's go ahead and catch this video now. I don't think it'll be a spoiler
There are places
anymore.
in our world where fiction and dreams can come true, powered by the dark energies leaking from beyond. These places are a battlefield in a war between the powers of light and darkness. I'm Alan Wake, a writer, a creator. I know the rules of the game. My specialty is fiction that can change the world. Words of power that can bend reality to my will.
Oh, it's you.
Something horrible is coming. He's called Mr. Scratch. He's after my wife, Alice.
Do you know the real difference between us? I'm not afraid to be the center of attention.
I can't return to the real world. I've tried, but I'm operating on dream logic, forcing the door open a crack so I can slip through. Fiction wants to come true. All you need to do is help it achieve its potential. Under these peculiar, exceptional circumstances, any story, any urban legend, any lie can come true.
This is such a nice little recap of things here. And we can actually see it now that we've been to all of those locations. The theater, the observatory, etc. I didn't want to catch it at the beginning of the stream when you had not been to those locations yet. So, I do believe this should be our third and final loop. Mr. Scratch has sent us 2 hours back in time to the beginning of, sundown, or whatever, once again.
Time folds back on itself. Again, his senses scream as the very impossibility of what is happening assaults them. But the champion of light endures. Each time,
And I guess
he gets a
that
little
means...
closer.
Oh,
Each
pardon
time,
me.
another detail falls into place. Now, the trap works against the Herald of Darkness.
Yes, it does. Thanks, narrator. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say we get to say goodbye to Birdleg Cabin once more. Just at the end of the last session, I was saying how I don't know if this is supposed to be somewhat metaphorical, that Alan is leaving Birdleg Cabin behind slowly as he goes through this experience. It's a very interesting gesture. However, this should be it, if memory serves. I believe there are only 3 loops before Alan is able to figure it out. So we should have to go back through the motel section, then back to the observatory, then be at the drive-thru.
What are you, the King Hillbilly?
Not sure what the best weapon against something like that might be. Assault rifle does the job. All right, let's watch out for more of those as we go forward. Trembling slightly with every step. The old gods of Asgard.
Odin Anderson. Old gods of Asgard. I still don't quite know what to make of them. I know they used to be rock stars who modeled their stage personas after Norse gods. I know they're old. I know that in their day they fought the darkness as I do. I know they're demented and insane, ravaged by age and self-abuse. But there's something in them. Something powerful that took hold when they were touched by the powers beyond. A thing that goes far beyond just stage names. Something godlike.
Oh dear Thor and Odin. We followed them low these last 10 years. As much as we could. Alright, going back to Nailgun, let's see what's waiting for us. mean that Emma Sloan, our mechanic friend, is back in play?
Right on cue, bubbling to the surface from untold depths.
So nice to see you all there in the chat.
The emerging monsters do not expect the warm reception that has already been prepared for them.
Oh, now this is interesting. Everything's already set up as soon as I get to the derrick. Derek, is that you? At least I assume it is. We'll have to check the CD. Yep. Still got the CD. And our emergency lights. So we get to make a quick escape down to the motel this time. This is perfect. And thematically, it just works. He's figured out the fiction of it. All right. Here we go again. As I try to loudly shout over the copyrighted music, which hopefully won't come into play later. And down she goes. Sorry about that. Now this is a way to make an entrance into town. Oh, I still got clipped. All right. No burns for Alan.
Saving Emma.
Oh, good. Yeah, just what I was hoping for. All right. Emma, they've gotten bigger out here. Are you all right? Are you alive? Are you one of them? Did you tell them to do this, Emma?
Getting the
Old
Andersons
gods
into
in the studio.
recording studio was a struggle and a half. But once they actually picked up the instruments, something happened. They were two old men, and they weren't. They were doddering bags of bone, and they were barely contained power. And there was music. Barry rubbed his hands together. He knew how to pick a winner. Now all they needed was some direction on how to make things a little more modern. Barry had never produced a thing in his life, but he knew what he liked. He knew Balance Slays the Demon was going to be a hit.
Such an interesting description. They were old men and they weren't. They were doddering bags of bone and barely contained power. I just want to live my whole life to the point where that's the description of me when I'm old. That sounds fantastic. Look at that doddering old bag of bone. But geez, there's something about him.
Not as long as I show up, I guess.
Hey. That's my face. That's not kind. And a couple of nails in his coffin. There we go. Be right back with you. I'm seeing pages. I'm seeing pages everywhere. I probably don't have the keys yet. Nope, no keys yet. Thanks, time travel. Time travel just stole my keys, officer. Oh, officer? Oh, no, it's this. It's a mannequin. I'm sorry.
I have seen the darkness twist flesh into new shapes before, but encountering these giants is an extremely disturbing experience. It's as if the genre has been switched on me. There's something out of Pulp Fiction. Twice as tall as normal men and stronger than forklifts, their lumbering gait and slow-witted demeanor brings to mind some kind of mean-spirited caricature of a feeble-minded hillbilly.
The kind of thing I might find deep, deep inside of myself as a prejudiced and famous New Yorker. Is that what you're trying to say, Alan? No. I'm sure that's not what you're trying to say. I thought there was another one over here. Let's check. Seeing something sparkly. Maybe another, TV message as well.
Emma wasn't sure exactly when the man arrived at the motel, but from what she could tell, the party started almost immediately. It was infectious, spreading from one room to another. He was mercurial, almost as if he was flickering through the scene, telling a joke here, throwing an insult there, oozing sex and violence and excitement. She had never seen someone like this before. He looked at her and smiled, and she felt her heart flutter a little. She knew he was the kind of man mothers warn their daughters about, but she told herself it didn't matter.
Strange. Strange thing to write for yourself in the dark place, Alan. All right. What do you got for us?
So I've been thinking about Barry. I don't know what to do about him yet. I mean, I'm not
Okay,
gonna keep
threaten
him
my
around,
wife, that's
for
fine,
sure.
but you threatened Barry.
Al? Al? Ugh, little parasite. Your best friend. Really? That's the best you can do. I actually kind of like the guy. He's a plucky little butterball. He plays the clown. That's a hard road to take. But I don't need him sticking his fat face in my business. Did you know he's been hanging out with the sheriff from that shitty little town? Think he's in
Sarah?
touch?
It's
Barry's
great
about the only
news.
guy who insists that you're not dead. How about that?
He's right.
I might keep him alive for a while. Just to see him go to pieces when I fire his ass. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll do whatever you want. Just don't hurt my Barry. His Christmas lights can only defend him so much. Which is to say, not very much. Oh, every time I think I'll be able to squeeze through that little gap there, but no. But no. Alright, I'm getting way out of town here. Just looking for pages and things. This is my last opportunity to do so, so I'm trying to be a little extra thorough, but we don't have to go for 100% completion necessarily. Good to see you, Mr. Scratch. Hopefully never again. Okay, not seeing any more pages out there. Let me just give a quick look over here. Train station. Doesn't seem like it. Not seeing any flashes on the minimap. So hopefully we're okay there. We'll get back to Emma. I've been leaving her hanging. Pretty to see the observatory way up there. I haven't really looked at it from down here. I was in the middle of showing them something. Do you mind? The good people at home want to see the observatory, and you're messing this up with your exciting combat sequence. Alright, yeah, so sorry to leave you screaming in the, shed. Here we go.
Yeah, thanks for saving me again. I'd hate to die before I'm scheduled to be murdered.
I guess I have you to thank for setting everything up at the oil derrick.
Yeah, well, I figured that if we were
So
going to
thank
go over
you.
this again, we might as well try to be smart about it, huh?
I appreciate it. You took a big chance doing that.
There we go.
You okay?
What do you think? I've died twice. I remember everything pretty clearly now. You said I was gonna be okay.
I don't know what happened.
Well, it's not your
And
fault.
look at you now.
I think one of those, what did you call them? The takers? I think they did something
that's
to the
it.
power and they got me that way.
I'm sorry.
But I got the keys from the dead guy in that room. And I'm not handing them over until you do something about this. I'm sick of getting killed.
Fair enough.
No, that's perfectly fair. I would happily fix this power situation, as I should have done from
You
loop
seem
1.
calmer now.
I tried freaking out. It didn't do much good for me. I guess you get used to the craziest stuff.
Good for you.
Plus, I figured I'd take the edge off, you know?
Mm-hmm. Those herbal supplements are pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the secret. It's all about the crystals,
I
man.
wanted to try to explain things to you now since you're calmer, but maybe this isn't the best time after all.
Oh, shit, yeah. Better not get all metaphysical on me now. Seriously, I'm like 2 sentences away from thinking how we could all be like atoms on God's skin or something.
Or figments of somebody's imagination?
Wow. I'm
Misplaced
just gonna try to
ink
chill out
on an
and
errant
not think
page.
about that or getting murdered or anything, if you're cool with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with not thinking about getting murdered. That's fine with me. All right, let's go secure this fuse box. I must have full ammo for the assault rifle too. Should be fine without picking up. And there they are. Air, enjoy. Alright, they're definitely not going to be able to appear right here and pull that any time as soon as I turn my back. I didn't even close the cover to make it slightly more difficult for them.
Okay. I really don't think they can get to the power now.
Thank you. That's a relief. Here's the keys that you needed.
Thank you.
Hey, I have to tell you, at the diner, I went there with him. The guy who looks like you, okay? I know I said that I didn't.
Yeah, I figured.
And is there more
Wanna
to
talk
that
about
story?
what happened at the diner?
There was this guy from the observatory, and he just attacked the poor dude, smashed his face into the tabletop a bunch of times. It was horrible. I didn't know that he was gonna do that. I swear. And I just ran. I just left him there. I didn't even try to help.
There was nothing you could have done. It's not your fault.
Well, he's dead in that motel room now, so excuse me if I feel pretty shitty about it anyway.
Wait, Mr. Scratch hit his head into the table multiple times at the diner, which is like oh, 500 yards from here and then dragged him back to the motel room? Okay. Yeah,
You shouldn't
sure.
blame yourself.
I just didn't want to get involved. I have this tendency to just drop everything and run. I don't think I'm a bad person, but I didn't even call the cops. I'm such a coward.
If you'd called the cops, we'd have dead cops. He's not human. Do you understand? It's not your fault.
But I could have tried to stop him.
Believe me, if you had, you'd be dead. You seem to be doing a little better now.
Yeah, I guess it just got easier once I got this thing off my chest. I just feel so guilty about it, especially because I didn't pick up on any of the warning signs. I just really liked hanging out with him, you know? He was smart,
Oh, I
and
know.
charming, and funny, and hot. The way you could be.
So
I
hot.
guess.
I guess.
What's the deal
The way
with
I
this
could
guy
be,
anyway?
yeah.
He looks
If
like
only.
you, he uses your name. Why does he do this stuff?
I'm not sure myself. Maybe he's just evil or my dark half. He does a lot of the stuff I'm trying really hard to get away from. Things that just messed up my life.
I guess all those murders don't help either.
Yeah, I could do without the murders and the end of the world. Listen, I need to get going.
Well,
Yeah, go. I think I'm good now.
about time I be hitting the
hope.
old
Good luck. If it all goes well, maybe this is the last time
pavement
we-
here.
God, wouldn't that be great?
Just keep those lights on, okay?
I don't want to have to come back here and flip that switch again. Okay. I guess I just have to trust it to fate. You be safe, Emma. Let's try to get these hotel rooms searched again. I didn't do this either. Let's take a listen.
Well, art lovers, are you feeling neglected? You shouldn't. You know Eddie Rodman's got love for you, which is why I actually hauled myself out of bed before noon, just so I could record an interview for your pleasure. Enjoy. Now, as I'm sure you all know, the annual Night Springs Visual Arts Show is coming around again, and that's a big deal for all of us that are in the culture business. If you can call it a business. That's a little controversial, I know.
Oh, that's okay. Money makes the world go around, no doubt about it.
And that's one of my guests here at the studio, Serena Valdivia. She's a curator at the Night Springs Gallery of Visual Arts, and she's in charge of the NSVA Film Festival, held this year at the old Night Springs Drive-In Theater.
Hello, Eddie. It's great to be here. And let me just say that it's a wonderful venue.
Absolutely. And with her is one of the filmmakers, somebody who's actually primarily known as a renowned photographer, Alice Wake.
Hello.
Now, Alice, I've seen a lot of your work over the years. It's very impressive. My wife's a big fan, actually.
Oh, thank you.
You've gained quite a bit of fame as a photographer, but that's not why you're here, right? You actually have a film. That's a little surprising.
For me, too. I really wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for Serena.
You two are friends, I take it?
Yeah, we move in the same circles. So, about a year ago, I heard about all this footage she'd shot, and I got to see some of it, and then I started pestering her about actually putting it out there, because it was really good. I didn't really want to show it. It felt too personal.
Well, yes, I can understand that. It features your husband, and he's, well...
He's dead.
I thought he was missing.
It's been 2 years. This sounds awful, but yes, I believe he's dead. Otherwise,
That's
he
nice to
would've-
hear, Alice.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Well, hold that thought, and we'll be right back.
So whatever this is all leading up to at the drive-thru there, it seems to have something to do with Alice's movie. No pages in here. Okay. I'm just being greedy. That's fair. I have no idea why these machines remind me so much of Control. Looks like you just walked in some back office break room and boop boop. Okay. Just looking for any glitteries I may have missed in the darkness out there. I'm not sure what the range on them is exactly. But I won't go too crazy. That's absolutely worth it, yes. Alright, let's touch this corpse. Get your gloves on. We're corpse touching. No gloves? Huh. Okay. Okay, we're doing it barehanded. Squish.
The fate of countless individuals hangs in the balance, threatened by the machinations of the Herald of Darkness. And yet, for a moment, the Champion of Light breathes a little easier. He has saved one life. For this moment, it is enough. And soon, perhaps, he can put an end to this.
Time for this drawn-out doctor sequence. Snap. Yes, you've got it. Single snap. Very important. Can't snap both gloves. That's
Returning
just
to the observatory
over
for what he hopes
overkill.
is the final time. The man feels anticipation and dread in equal measure. Soon,
His
he knows
tummy
he
rumbles
will have what he needs.
with barely concealed hunger. He reaches out through the darkness to try to grab a Hostess Twinkie. Not a sponsor of Night Springs.
I was expecting you. I've already taken care of the imaging array, but you should still look into securing the primary coolant flow. With some luck, you may be able to light the area before these things even show up.
Dr. Meadows, you absolute genius. Thank you, I will. I love the fact that your friends and acquaintances catch on to the time loop and assist you. Much more fun than having to explain it to them every time, I'm sure. Let's just not go. Let's just not go that way. Oh, they can climb the fence. I haven't seen that before. That guy's just too old for that sort of thing. He's going through. Oh, no, I'm getting too old for this sort of thing. Okay. Should have been paying a bit more attention to my backside. Nothing to do with the game. I'm just choosing how to spend my time in life. Alright, since that took so much ammo, let's run back to the box. That's a good box. Alright. Thank you, red box. Something about the pipes. I guess it's just this.
Very good. I believe we're ready to look into the sky.
Right there, Doctor.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to look into the sky yet. I'm being attacked by poltergeists. I don't know what your situation is like, Doctor. I always forget that one's like a mirage, a scripted poltergeist, but you can't actually get rid of it. I always try to, with my aggressive flashlighting. And you brought friends. Okay. Poltergeists brought friends. Okay. Let's get that page. Spiders, you want to get in on this? Everything is as real as everything else. That's it. That's all you need to know. Okay, let's click into it.
Creation is exhilarating and frightening. Subtext and symbols loom eager to take effect. Causality and consequence become domino chains that stretch into infinity. The more fundamental the change, the more unpredictable the variables become. Reality is too complex to control completely. Ordinary questions become meaningless. Who created who?
Ordinary questions.
What is really real? Everything is as real as everything else. You learn to let go of the things you can't control and go with the flow, or go insane.
I want to pay very special attention to any time the word ordinary shows up in anything from here until the rest of my life. So that's fun. Okay. It's lighted this path for me as if to say, hey, you should go up this way. I'll be a pawn. I'll be a pawn of fate, sure. That's what we're here for. Ah, it's a splitter. I forget not to flashlight those guys. Would be ideal. Okay. Hello again, Dr. Meadows. Zoom in real close. See what you want to see. And then let me in. Okay, I'll push it.
Come on in.
Thank you. And welcome back to Mr. Scratch. This is really what we're here for.
This is what you look like. Does that bother you? I bet it does. I'm not just wearing your face, you know. It goes a lot deeper than that. There's a lot of you and me. All the best parts. At first, I was just an idea. But they kept telling all those stories about you. You already had that rep. And then you disappeared mysteriously. And then the stories about bad, crazy Alan Wake came true. And here I am. That's the best part, isn't it? When that happens, you can always count on Cauldron Lake. I'm just as real as you are. And I'm the improved version. No fears, no doubt, no weaknesses, no self-deception here. I don't let anything drag me down. I know you like I know myself. I know it bothers you that I'm like this, that I use your name, crawl my way into your life. But I only do it because I'm better at being you than you ever were.
Well, you got me there. Very interesting how directly he said that Cauldron Lake created him. He wasn't a product necessarily of anything deeper within the Dark Place.
Look out! You need to protect the telescope.
Okay.
You can't complete the signal.
Okay, I'll look out. And round two. And back to nail gun, alright. And lights are back on. Whew.
There, I have it. But I wish these things would stop blatantly violating the laws of physics in my observatory. That's just wrong.
Sorry.
Are you all right?
I'll live.
I'm glad. I'll send the lift down to you. I remember our previous encounters very clearly now. But technically, if this really is a loop in time, we've never met before. I don't know why our awareness persists, but it's bloody fascinating.
Doctor?
You know, I know physicists who would give 15 years of their lives for a chance to experience something like this.
I'd imagine that being stalked by horrible axe murderers would curb their enthusiasm a little.
Clearly you've never met hardcore physicists.
I'm glad you're in such good spirits, but
Signal! Yes, it's completed.
finally.
I imagine Sam Lake must speak from experience there. Clearly you've never met hardcore physicists.
If all goes well, this should be the last time we go through the loop.
You know, I just realized that I don't have any memory of what happens after you leave. What does that mean?
I don't think it means anything. If everything goes well, you just keep going. I don't show up here like this again, no more bad guys. Things go back to normal.
Let's hope you're right. I'd love the opportunity to look into this in more detail.
Looks like you've accepted the situation.
I'm a pragmatist. If this is a delusion, at least my first psychotic episode is anything but boring. Really, Mr. Wake, at the end of
Look
the
on the
day,
bright
I'm a
side.
scientist. I love mysteries. I love not knowing. Whatever else this might be, it's absolutely fascinating. I wonder how far this reaches. Is everybody in the world experiencing this?
Who knows? I think reality's probably pretty fragile right now.
You're pleasantly enthusiastic about
I
this.
can see you're very enthusiastic about this. I'd appreciate a bit of discretion.
Are you suggesting that we should suppress this?
No, you can do what you like, but I want you to leave me out of it.
But surely, with the things you know, the things you've experienced, you can replicate any of these results. We could...
Let me be blunt. If you drag me into this, I'll deny everything. I'll lie like my life depended on it. And writers are damn good liars. Word of advice. This is things man was not meant to know territory. You get into this, chances are you'll open up a door into a world of hurt. Believe me, I know.
A whole world of
See.
hurt. That's a bit of a strange reaction, in my opinion. Considering, yeah, what's he really gonna do about it, like?
In a strange way, he feels at ease. He is armed with his own words, and when the time comes, they will be enough or they will not. For now, he's content to let the currents take him toward the final confrontation.
So the signal that we seem to be retrieving from space seems to be a manuscript page Alan has written that has certain parameters for the drive-in theater, and we've only, until now, had like 4 of those parameters. Now we should have the full set.
Once more,
so Alan has written something to himself, but he can't remember what it is.
The absurdity of arming oneself with a few sentences and standing against a power that can pierce time itself. He doesn't show it. The man has his share of weaknesses, perhaps more, but cowardice is not among them.
He says as he slowly steps backwards away from the power station, never to return to Night Springs. Okay, so this time Alan did not arrive at the theater. He drove right to the access road to the power station instead. Smart Alan. Another few seconds saved.
Oh, you got yourself a little plan, do you?
I do. Got myself a little plan. You don't get to be a part of it because you're a big meanie. How does that make you feel? I got cornered. Quite literally cornered. There, take your time. Oh. All right. They just want me to combat at every opportunity these days. That's fair. Okay, 6 shots left. That ought to put me in good stead. That ought to be plenty. Feels like there's a page back there, but I don't think there is. Let's check. Just in case. All right. So we're going into the ambush with nail gun. I think that there might be an ammo box in here, but I'm not sure if I'm misremembering. If there isn't, we're getting out of here with nail gun. Yes, good. Whew. Getting a little dicey there. In the hypothetical. Oh, it's getting dicey in the hypothetical. Alright, so I should use a flashbang if at all possible, since I'm already full. Now it's just that one that's greening. That's interesting. I don't think that was there before, for whatever reason. I can switch back to this. All right. I should reload as well. Surprisingly little ambush so far. too quiet. And I guess I can go this way, that they so kindly broke down for me. Oh, it's heading off to the theater. Trying to head me off at the pass.
You're never getting out of this, Wake. Never! Don't worry. I'll take care of your wife and your life.
What about my berry? Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. Back to nails. And bleeding internally. Any light around here? Jeez.
I don't know what you think you're doing, but I'll
That's
send
what I
you
get.
right back to the beginning.
Aha, there's a page. Serena and Mr.
When the dark
Scratch.
man's eyes suddenly locked into Serena's, she flushed hot. They ignited a black fire in her. He was talking. He wanted the power turned off. He said something about the projector booth. She hooked a finger under his belt buckle. He grabbed a hold of her throat and twisted until it hurt. Somewhere deep inside, a part of her screamed in paralyzed horror, but the moan that escaped from her throat had no panic in it. "Pay attention," he said. "Business first." His eyes glittered shamelessly. Hers did too.
This must be part of that cross-promotion I heard about. It was a little bit early back in 2012, but they got the rights to some of that 50 Shades of Grey. And that's pretty cool. Cool way to advertise.
What? You think whatever it is you're gonna do is gonna make a difference? This'll end up just like before!
Yeah, probably. Is that no reason not to try, Mr. All right. I sure would love to watch this TV if you guys could just give me a second here.
There's more to
Focusing
fighting
the
the Taken
beam.
than just burning away the darkness that protects them. When I'm fighting for my life, I find myself slipping into a state of intense concentration that makes the beam of my flashlight seem more powerful and focused. I used to think it was just my imagination, something brought on by the adrenaline and fear of death. But now I'm not so sure. I've been touched by powers that I can't begin to truly comprehend. And they've left a mark. I'm starting to think this might be a part of it.
That's really interesting, because I've sort of made the same assumption that his flashlight is just a flashlight and it's a mechanic that you do have to aim at them. In order for the beam to take down their shield of darkness, you need to actually be aiming, not just pointing it at them. So when you're just pointing it at them, it doesn't actually get rid of their darkness at all. He needs to concentrate. You need to press a button to focus the beam. And it's like in-universe, that must be the bright presence. Some part of the diving suit of Thomas Zane and, say, Polaris from Control. A sort of bright superpower that Alan has. It's very interesting. So I don't know if I can safely watch this. I kind of hope it would be fine. Let's try it.
I've been around for a while now, you know? While you've been indisposed, stuck in the darkness, I've been busy. I operate in the shadows. Not always literally, you understand? I'm a little more resilient than those I've taken, but I do my best work in the dark. And there's so much darkness out there that goes deep, and the things that live in it are vast, big bastards. They don't mind getting a little bit of elbow room. All that chaos and madness, it doesn't really do that much down there. It's like pouring a glass of water into the ocean, right? But up here, yeah, you can really make an impact. All they need is someone to bring them all the way through. But first, I had to take care of you. You party pooper. You're stuck in an eternal cycle now. The sun's never coming up for you. Everything else? Do my thing. Getting a bit of quality time with Alice. That's a little something for me. And I deserve it.
I'm not sure if he completely pulled that off, but yeah, it was an admirable attempt. Tried to do a little bit of fava bean Chianti action, and it was a good 60% of the way there. Not a failure by any means. All right. Let's go this way. A little crowded back there. Alright, back to nails. Ditto purple. I'm seeing it now. Yes. Sorry for the delay. And the gravelly nature of this. Yes. Oh, that's not a thing I wanted. Okay, bye flashbang. Bye forever. Love you. 1 second, I'll be right back with you to jump in the booth. Alright, here we go. Projector, for the third time. Is it the charm?
Again, the champion of light enters the final trap. The new reality is almost here. All he needs to do is change the details of the scene, push it past the breaking point, and the rest will snap into place.
Alright, so assuming it's the same as what we already know, let's make the changes we're aware of. Late at night, late summer, spotlight on the fire extinguisher, and noir poster. Now, what are the final elements? Alice's film was in the projector. I'm not sure if that messes something up or if that's just incidental to the rest of it. But I wanted to finally use it because we haven't the last 2 times, thinking that it was going to mess it up. Now, hopefully it's just a little Easter egg. So where's Alice's film? Or is it just already in a projector that I need to activate? There's a bunch of boxes of film canisters. Pick up film reel. Where was that? Here we go. That is likely the one. It's not getting tendrily this time.
Oh, come on, buddy. Why don't you...
Happy ending.
What? What is this? No! No! You can't do this! All I did was take the things you always wanted and never had the balls to go for. It's my turn now. It's my life. It's my life!
So his suit, it was actually Mr. Scratch on screen, and his suit fades
Is it?
into that plaid of Alan.
It's really me.
How? I love you.
I love you.
A woman, a man, two lovers, held apart for far too long, enveloped in the light of a glorious dawn. They both feel it. He's home at last. Are these actual events, or merely a dream, a memory, or a glimpse of what is to come? One thing is certain. This scene takes place in another time and another place, far, far away from Night Springs.
Oh, good. I'll be sure to make use of that Avatar award. I'm only like 6 years too late for it at this point in time. All right. Let's see if we can get past it here. So sorry. Quick recap. I think what we just saw here is very, very interesting because for a long time, for a good 8 years there, that was how the story of Alan Wake sort of ended. Happy ending? Is it? Maybe? Oh, darn, I shouldn't have skipped the credits there. I'm so sorry. I was worried about the song being copyrighted, but at the end of the credits, I should mention, you can see this on YouTube. Very much wish I hadn't skipped it. As it turns out, at the very end of the credits, it pulls back out into that motel room where you started. You know, when you start the game, we zoom past that Old Gods of Asgard tour van, and we see Barry Wheeler's ID, and he's snoring in bed, and then the episode of Night Springs comes on that we just seem to have played through, basically. At the very end of the credits, it pulls back out, and you're back in that motel room with Barry, and Barry stirs after the Night Springs fades out. He stirs, and he wakes up, and he says, "Al?" So for whatever reason, while Barry was dreaming and watching this episode of Night Springs, that Alan had sort of sent him through the ether. He dreamed this whole thing, and I believe that it did happen. It was the result of Alan's fight with Mr. Scratch over control of his own identity. While Alan was gone, Mr. Scratch was fueling the flames of speculation to make everyone think that Alan was a bad person and this horrible monster, effectively, because he wasn't there to defend himself anymore. Mr. Scratch could say whatever he liked, and it would be the new truth. So this wasn't really an escape attempt of Alan's. It seems to have just been an attempt to retake his myth, like the urban legend of himself had gone off. And Alice was the only one who had this perspective of Alan as being a sweet, kind man who was once not so stressed out about being famous. And she wanted the world to see that sundown video she made was just a little piece of home video footage of Alan being nice. It was just a little kiss at sundown that they had filmed at some point in their early relationship that she then made into this sort of short film or whatever. And so that film is what powered Alan's ability to retake his identity in a certain way. So now for the next 8 years, until the events we now know will happen in Control, Alan is just missing. He's not necessarily this big Bloody Mary figure going around potentially murdering people. People have seen him. Oh, was that Alan? Is he dead? Now everyone's just like, oh, he's probably dead, and he was just a nice writer man. And we all got out of hand with our speculation. Seems to kind of be the idea. So I had originally thought that this might have been some sort of escape attempt, when I played it 8 years ago. I thought, did he get out to Alice? Does beating Mr. Scratch at the movie theater mean that he can somehow get free and that he and Alice are truly reunited? I think we can now safely say, because of what we know in Control, no, that never happened. He did not escape. He has been in the dark place for 10 years. He, in fact, says in Control, I have been trying and trying to write my way out, but I just keep getting lost in my own fantasy of escaping. Like this. Like, how would I ever know it's true? It's just, I can create anything. I can create Alice, and I can make her make a video about us being free and reunited, but is it real? Did it happen? Or did I just write that it happened? And now I'm right back in the dark place. I have to write something else. What does it mean now? So I think it's very, very cool. I'm glad to now know that it wasn't an escape attempt at all, that it was an attempt to retake more the idea of Alan and the surrounding mythos of Alan, which I think was successful. And now he's just been this figure of, I wonder if he'll ever turn up, rather than, oh, let's not talk about that guy. He scares me, sort of thing. Anyway, thank you for listening to my ramble. That is the whole tale of Alan Wake thus far as I know, that we now have recorded for posterity, out of order and crazily narrated, for which I apologize. But you have now seen everything I have of Alan's existence, and we are prepared for whatever is going to happen in Bright Falls, Washington, and perhaps the nearby watery Washington, judging by Artie's little note there. And I cannot wait. I hope to be back with you in Alan's company soon. Until then, we will have our old adventures here to YouTube back upon. Thank you for your time and your kind attention in going with me here on what has been a very, very important journey for me. Alan Wake has always been dear to me, and I am very glad to be able to introduce him to you guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for putting up with me. And I will see you the next time the darkness escapes, and we need to beat it back with our nail gun. I love you. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.